Good morning. Thank you for joining practice. As always, practice according to your condition and your comfort level. I give modifications to suit different conditions, different levels of ability, as well as variations for those who are more advanced. So please do according to what is suitable for you. Thank you very much for joining. Let's begin. Sit tall and supremely still for a moment. Close the eyes. Bring the attention inward. Nothing to do, nothing to seek. Everything you need can be found within. Begin with the sound of Om 3 times to attract divine attention. Imagine you are everywhere. Fix your mind on God alone. Rest your thoughts in God alone. In God you will live hereafter. Of this there is no doubt. Om Namah Shivaya, I bow to you in light. all beings everywhere be happy and free from suffering, and enjoy this practice through our senses and be nourished through our bodies. May we acquire a strong desire for liberation from pain and suffering, and may we cherish no ill feelings against each other, only love and peace, compassion. So let's begin. Come to standing position. Let's start with a mantra for purification 3 times to purify the space, the grounds, and all the psychic channels within. If you know the chant, you may do it along with me. If you don't, just think about the effects of purification and you derive all the benefits all the same. Om Pavitraha Pavitra Va Sawa Vashtanga Topi Va Yaha Smarit Pandrikaksham Sabaya Bihantraha Sachi. Om Pavitraha Pavitra Va Sawa Vashtanga Topi Va Yaha Smarit Pandrikaksham Sabaya Bihantraha Sachi. Om Pavitraha Pavitra Va Sawa Vashtanga Topi Va Yaha Smarit Pandrikaksham Sabaya Bihantraha Sachi. Release the arms. Let's do spiritual breathing to establish a deeper connection with the divine essence within. Bring the arms up above the head, the palms turned up a little bit. From the fingertips, inhale down through the arms into the spiritual heart, located at the center of the chest. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Holding all the attention at the breath. Suspend the breath. 4, 5, 6. Exhale out through the arms. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, attract the best, the best. Pull it all into the heart, through the arms and into the spiritual heart. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold the breath and the attention at the heart. All that you drew in stays there as well. Exhale out to the arms. Everything that you drew in stays in, just the breath leaves. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Last time, inhale, feel as though you're a magnet pulling everything you need down into the heart. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, holding at the heart, holding all the attention there. Exhale out to the arms, just the breath again. Keep what you drew in the heart. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bring the arms down now. We'll continue with the warm-ups. Watch the body moving like you're the witness. Start to turn the head in circles. Imagine all beings experiencing this through your body. So make the experience as beneficial as possible. And then switch the direction of the rotation. Try to bring the ears right to the shoulders, the chin to the top of the chest, and the back of the head to the top of the back. And release now. Bring the arms out in front, circle the arms in opposite directions. Come back in front and then go in the opposite direction. You have to turn your chest a little bit to the side. And release, bring the arms up over the head, take hold of the opposite elbows, and then just go from side to side. And then forward and back. And then just little circles, just mostly the head first and the shoulders. And then Try to bring the upper back and the chest into the movement. And finally, the whole body rotates. Hinge at the hips. Move the whole trunk. Circle the whole trunk. And come all the way back up. And then switch the direction. Again, just starting off with the head mostly and the shoulders. And then just start to incorporate the chest and the upper back. And eventually the whole body swings down. And then coming all the way back up. Release the arms. And then from here, shake out the wrists. Loosen them up by moving the fingers very, very, very rapidly. Like you're shaking water off your hands. And then up and down. Again, very, very quickly. Like the wings of a hummingbird. And then release. Now here, just start to move the shoulders back and forth. And then start to move the body with it. And then the arms just slapping the body any which way. The head flying in all directions. Move as fast as you can. Shake it out. And then start to slow it down. The arms starting to feel heavy. And then come to stillness. Good. Now bring the feet together and then just bounce. And release here. And then from here, lion's breath 8 times. So it's good for releasing tension. Just make like you're pouncing like a lion. I want to see big eyes and a big tongue hanging out of the mouth. Or imagine I'm trying to see you. So, and then coming back up. Last one, take the arms out to the side, swing your leg back and forth. Right leg first. Imagine try to hit the shoulder with the knee. And then the other leg. And release. Okay, so now let's just stand in humility pose. The arms by the body, the head down, the chin down. And then we're going to take 6 counts to come up. Halfway up, we lift the heels and we turn the palms up. And we reverse on the way down on the exhale. So inhale, raise the arms, 2, 3. Lift the heels, turn the palms up, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3. Palms down, heels start to lower, 2, 3. Inhale, float the arms up, move gracefully, 2, 3. Lift up off the heels, 2, 3. And down, 2, 3. And down, keep going down, 3. Inhale again, out to the side. Lift up through the heels, go tall. Exhale, 2, 3. Heels. Exhale, 2, 3. And down, 2, 3. Again, the head comes back down. An expression of humility and stay in that mindset of being the servant to all beings everywhere. Through the delivery of fruits of the practice to all of them. Now let's come to the top of the mat. Surya Namaskara. Hands to the heart center. Imagine you're moving in time and in sync with yogis everywhere to deliver benefits to all beings. So let's move together all as one like a school of fish. Reach the arms up over the head, hips forward, arch back, if you feel comfortable. Then bring the hands down to the ground. Bend your knees if you need to. Bring your hands flat on the ground. The right foot back, lower the knee down, sink down to the seat. Lift through the heart. Come into high plank. Knees down. Bring the seat behind the heels. Forehead to the ground. Push the elbows up to the side. Glide forward. Come up into the Cobra pose. Lift the head. Open up the chest. Come all the way back. The seat behind the heels. 2 more times. Brush your nose to the ground as you come forward. And raise the head. Bring it all the way back. Curve the spine all the way back again. Seat behind the heels. One last time. Glide forward into Bhujangasana, Cobra. Roll over the toes. Lift the seat up and back. Downward facing dog. Melt the heart towards the ground. Then look to the hands. The right foot forward. If that was difficult, lower the back knee. You can use the right hand to step the foot forward if the foot doesn't make it all the way to the hands. And then the back foot comes in to meet the front foot. Fold the body down onto the legs. Come all the way up to standing. Hips forward. Stretch the front of the body. Then bring the hands back to the heart. Watch the body moving like you're the witness. Again, reach up and back. You're the seer, not the doer. Come all the way down. Chest on the thighs, head down. Left foot back into a lunge. Sink down to the seat. Into the plank. Lower down the knees, the seat behind the heels. Move in a deliberate, mindful, and reverent way. Respect and love for all forms that you move through. Bring the seat back. Glide forward again between the arms. Feel like a shapeshifter, just shifting from one form to the other seamlessly. Come forward again into the Cobra. Now roll over the toes, back into downward facing dog. Again, melt the hearts. Head towards the ground. Left foot steps to the hands, modify as you need to. Then bring the feet back together, Uttanasana. Head towards the ground. Come all the way up to standing. Bring the hands back to the heart. Reach up and back again. Go down. Right foot back. Make as though you're doing a dance, moving fluidly. Lower the knees, chest and forehead down. And come forward between your arms. Right back this time into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Then a right foot steps forward to the hands. Feet together. Bow to the legs. Every movement reflecting surrender, devotion, and love. Reach the arms up and back. Hands back to the heart. And up again. Every pose, every movement, an offering. Fold the body down onto the legs. Left foot back into a lunge. Sink through the seat. Come into high plank. Down we go. Ashtanga Namaskara. Drop the chest towards the ground. And then pull it forward and up. Head all the way back. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Left foot forward to the hands. And then feet together. Bow to the legs in a gesture of humbleness. Come up. All the way. Standing salute. Bring the hands back to the heart. Let's add on a little bit. Raise your arms up over the head. Reach back. Go down. Chest on the thighs, bending your knees. Join your hands behind the back. Pull the arms back. The head telescopes forward and then dives right down to the ground. Uttanasana. Pull the arms way over your head in front of the head. And then release the hands beside your feet. Right foot back. Lower the knee down. Sink through the seat. Kapiasana. Bring your arms up and back. Make like a crescent moon shape with your body. Arch your back. And then bring your hands back down. Plant your hands. Bend the toes under. Three-legged dog. Swing the left leg all the way up and back. Raise it up high. Come forward in your plank. Keep your leg up. Lower the chest. Bend the elbows. And then the toes come down as the chest comes down. Right into upward facing dog or cobra if you like. Roll over the toes back into downward facing dog. Immediately raise a right leg up for three-legged dog. And then step the foot between the hands, softly landing it, no big heavy thuds. Make the movement soft so you don't disturb the witness. Raise your arms up over the head. Arch the back if you can. If it feels comfortable and okay to do so, place the hands down. Left foot comes in to meet the right. Belly on your thighs, join the hands. Extend and then fold forward and down. Push the body into the legs. Release, come all the way up to standing. Hips forward, arms back over the head, and bring the hands back to the heart. Again, reach the arms up over the head, stretch the front of the body, then go down. Bowing again, left foot back, lower the knee down, Kapiasana. Sink your seat all the way forward, bring the arms up over the head, crescent moon shape. Pull the body up out of the hips. Then bring the hands down, plant down to the base of the left toes. Swing the right leg all the way up into one-legged dog. Come forward into high plank, keep your leg up. And as you bring your chest down, once the chest touches down, the toes can come down as well. Come up into cobra or upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Melt the heart. Immediately raise the left leg up and back, three-legged dog again, and step the foot between the hands. Softly. Lower the back knee, sink the seat, arms up over the head, crescent moon. And then bring the hands back down. Back foot comes in to meet the right. Chest on the thighs, hands together, behind the back, extend through the crown, and then pull down. Dive deeply. Release. Bring the arms over the head, engage the buttocks, the upper back, so you can go back with comfort and ease and steadiness. Bring the hands back to the heart. Okay, one more variation. Reach the arms up and over the head. Come down. Fold the body in half. Now come forward, shoulders over the wrists, the fingertips actually. Push into the ground, keep the arms strong. Lift up a little bit and then allow the toes to glide back. Come into Chaturanga. Alternatively, you can walk back, lie on your stomach. Glide through. If you can, upward facing dog. Lift your hips up off the ground and then slide your hips a little bit forward. Push the shoulders back. Make sure you don't jam your neck up between your shoulders and your ears. Lengthen the whole back body from the base of the spine right up to the top of the neck. No wrinkles in the lower back or the back of the neck. Move the toes back into downward facing dog now. Here, bounce to the chest a few times. Try to get your chest closer to the ground, your belly to the thighs. If you can rest the top of your head, maybe even go towards the back of the head. Bring it down on the ground. Stretch like a dog stretches its back. And then lift the heels, bend the knees. Look between the hands, push into your hands. Bring your feet forward, hopping or walking. Pull the body down onto the legs, Uttanasana. Come all the way up to standing, reach up and back. Hands back to the heart. One more time. Reach the arms up over the head, push the hips forward, stretch the whole front of the body. Come down, Uttanasana. Now lift up halfway. Shoulders get over the fingertips, push firmly into the ground, keep your arms strong, lift up a little bit and then glide back. Bend your elbows so you can land lightly and quietly. Come forward, drag your body forward into upward facing dog or cobra. You can keep your hips anchored to the ground if that's better for you. Make like a dog howling at the moon. Try to visualize the form in your mind, doing the action that the pose suggests. Copy what you see in your mind. Roll over the toes, back into downward facing dog. Exhibit the loyalty of the dog to its master, the head down low. And then lift the heels, bend the knees, with space between your hands. Bring your feet there, hopping or walking. Pull the body down onto the legs. Come all the way up to standing. Arch back if you feel comfortable. And then bring the hands back to the heart. Take pause here for a moment. Breathe in from the heart to the brow center. Breathe back down to the heart. Remain established in divine love. And feel the presence of God in your heart. And the presence of all beings sitting there. And release. So So let's come into balancing poses now. So we're going to start off with, let me see, ballet pose. So standing on the left foot first, bring the right foot up, take hold of the heel from the inside. And then slowly bring your arm and your leg up. Try to come up at the same time. Lean a little bit if you're more flexible to the left so you can get your foot up higher. Try to get your index, your fingers and your toes on the same line. Lift up your chest. Now, engage muscles of your legs if you feel comfortable. Try not to drop the foot. You have to keep your leg muscles engaged as you release the foot. Try not to allow the foot to drop to appreciable height. Then come out and down. Try not to touch the toes to the ground. Right into gliding eagle. So lean forward, try to get your head down close to the ground, about the height of the knee. Spread your wings, imagine you're an eagle soaring down from a cliff, diving down towards the earth and then skimming across the surface of the ocean. Just visualize all these images in your mind and make your body just reflect what you see. And then coming back up and release. Trying on the other side now. Standing firm on the right foot. Take the left foot up. Hold the heel from the inside, the thumb behind the heel. And then see if you can take your leg and your arm up at the same time. If you need to do it out of sequence, one at a time, it's okay. Just do your best. Don't worry about the results. If you're more flexible, again, bring your foot higher, closer to your shoulder. Less flexible, you can just try to get your arm and your foot about the height of the shoulder. Or bend your knee as you need to. So again, move according to your condition. Now again, see if you can let go of the foot without dropping it. Engage the muscles of the legs. And then let go. Keep your leg muscles engaged as you bring the leg down so it doesn't fall heavily and hit the ground. Try to keep the foot up and come forward into your eagle pose. Spread your wings. Pull the shoulders back to keep the chest wide. Dive your head down about the height of the knee. Raise the left foot up higher. Good, and then press into your foot to come back up. Release. Okay, so we're going to try another pose, another couple of poses. I'll move this way so you can see. So let's move into dancer. Starting off with a simpler version first and then moving into variations if you like. Standing on the left foot, bring the right knee up and take hold of the foot. And then see if you can pull the foot behind, the thigh comes level with the ground, the hand comes level with the shoulder. You can say here if you need a modification, you even just keep your thighs together and just hold your foot right against the seat. If you want to go further, you can cant the body forward, open it up a little bit. If you're more flexible, you can try to move your hand closer to the knee and try to eventually straighten the leg. Making it look like a standing split, sort of. Exude the grace of a dancer. And then come back up. Release. Try it on the other foot now. So bring the left foot up, knee up, so you can take hold of the heel and then drag it behind. Bring the arm level with the ground. Foot about the toes about the height of the head. Hips even. Then again, you can move deeper. So you can come forward a little bit, try to push the foot up. Keep your gaze steady, or you can take hold closer to the knee if you're more flexible again. And then come forward, straighten the leg. you hold closer to the knee, this will allow you to straighten the leg a little bit more. Release. Come back up and release. Good. Okay. So we'll move into different poses now. Perhaps incorporate some more balanced poses as we go along. So stand sideways on the mat. Turn to the right. So if you're facing forward, just turn low to the right. Bring your index fingers in line with the elbows, and then jump your feet apart. We're going to move towards the left for Virabhadrasana 2. Come forward. Get nice and low. A little bit of a forward movement. Give yourself a sense of direction and purpose, just like the warrior has a purpose to defend the people they serve. From here, bring the left hand down. You can either, if you need to, you can just rest your forearm on the thigh, bring the right arm up over the head. If you can, however, bring the hand down to the ground. You can stay on your fingertips if you need to. Push the knee against the shoulder. Try to get a long line all the way from the fingertips, all the way down to the foot. Make sure your hip doesn't pop up. Press it down, sink your hip to keep that line. Now from here, if you like, you can bring your hand around the back of the body, slip your hand in between your body and your leg, and then push your hand into your thigh so you can straighten your front leg. Take the right shoulder back. Good. Then from here, move your right foot in a little bit more. Slide your left hand out. Come into Ardha Chandrasana. Keep the hand on the leg. Take the right shoulder back. Good. Now from here, bring the body down a little bit further. The right hand comes down, face the front leg, straight on, face forward. And then try to bring your nose to your shin. So you can take your left hand to your left ankle, the index finger tracing along the outside the ankle, raise your right leg up higher, standing split. And pull the nose against the shin if you can. Lift the left hip a little bit more. If you have good balance, you can see if you can bring the right hand to the standing leg as well. Okay, so push the base of the big toe down, hug the forearm to the legs, gaze beyond the toes just a little bit. And from here, place the right foot back down. Lower the knee down, flatten out the toes, sink down to the seat, bring your hand to the front knee, and then lean back away from the leg. Drop your head back. Just allow the shoulders to fall back. Sink the hips as much as you can. The seat is close to the front heel. And then Kapiasana, bring your arms up over the head, hands in Kali Mudra if you can, or keep them apart. If it's better for your shoulders, wiggle shoulders back and forth. Try to go a little bit deeper. Pull the arms back, index fingers going with the back toe eventually. Don't worry if you can't do it, just do your best. Keep visualizing it. Now you can come back up. Options here. You just lean to the left hand back on the left knee, bring the right hand to the leg, and just curve your side body. Just look towards your back foot. If you can, however, you can bring the back foot up, place the foot in the crook of the elbow, fingers close to the ear so that when your left hand comes around, you find the bind more easily. Lock your fingers together. Eventually push the foot into the arm to lengthen your arms. No sharp angles in the joints, no sharp lines. Think of a swan's neck. Make sure you don't tilt to the right. Try to push your chest forward, in front. Keep pushing your head into the arm to help you keep upright. And then release, pull the foot back in towards the shoulder, release. Turn to the front and push into the front knee to come upright. Left foot moves in, right toes bent under, legs are like a box. The right arm comes up and take your hand to the outside the knee, left hand comes to the seat. Push the seat down and in, lift up, lean back a little bit and see if you can take your left hand to the outside of the heel. Now stay tall, inhale, lift, exhale, push against the knee, against the foot as you turn towards the left. Keep actively pressing against the knee and the foot to give you a little bit of resistance. Feel free to stay here or move into Parivita Parsvakonasana. You would then come forward, the right arm comes up, elbow comes to the outside of the thigh. Now see if you can pull the belly up over the thigh. Left hand in the right fist or Anjali Mudra and push into your hands. Left hand into the right, push the chest towards the thumbs and then roll the left shoulder all the way back. Left hip moves back, head forward and then turn the chest upwards as much as you can. If you want, you can take the back knee up off the ground. Keep rolling your thighs inwards, engage your legs. If you know a bind, go ahead. Left arm comes over the back and you hold it from underneath with your right hand. See if you can take the wrist. If not, just take your fingers. Extend through the crown, pull the left shoulder all the way back. Good. Now from here, if you like, you can move the left foot in a little bit and see if you can come into Revolved Chandrasana. So if you keep the bind, you raise your right leg up, gaze towards the front, bring your weight into the front foot, towards the toes. If you need to, you release the bind, you can take the right hand down to the ground on your fingertips, raise your right leg up. You can keep your hand on your seat as you turn your chest to the left or raise your arm up. So this is another option. If you can't, just keep the bind. Release, bring the right foot back down. Move your hands to the inside of the left foot. Then rock back and forth, trying to sink your hips with each pass. Push back to the right foot one last time, lower the knee, and then relax the toes. See if you can anchor down through the hips like you're doing a cobra. Left shoulders and the left knee stay together. Push the foot out a little bit to the left if you need to. And then perhaps roll to the right if you can. Get the right forearm down. Roll to the left, maybe the left forearm comes down. If you're more flexible, you can come right down onto your chest. Your left shoulder comes over the left foot, on top of the left foot. If you want to go further still, left arm goes underneath the knee, over your back. Your hips have to be down. Left side sit bone. Make sure left hip doesn't rise up too much. It should be level with the other one. And then you take your hands over your back. Now fix the gaze like a lizard fixes its gaze. Stretch. Right. Now release. Come back onto the hands. So from here, scooch the right knee in a little bit, bend the toes under the right foot, raise the left leg up, and bring the chest down to the ground. So your elbows are hugging the sides of the body, your hands, weight is mostly in your hands, not so much on the chin. And then from here, if you like, you can see if you can press the right knee up off the ground. So at this point, your chest, your hands, your chin are on the ground, and the foot. Those of you who can see if you can press up. Bring the right foot to the thigh. Jump up a few times. So you might be able to stay Bandha Garudasana. Your shoulders sitting right on top of your hands. This is for professionals. Those who know how to do it, go ahead. If not, just stay where you can. Perhaps like this, or the knee. And then from here, come back down, both knees on the ground, Hashtanga Namaskara. Push your way into Cobra, downward facing dog. Breathe in, breathe out. So from here, come into side plank, move on to your left hand, and then turn to the right. Push your hips up as much as you can. If you know the variations, go ahead. You can come into wild things, slide your left foot back alongside the right foot back alongside the left knee. Flip your hips and chest up. Of course, if you know the variations, you want to take your knee up, all good. Maybe even the foot. Make sure you don't fall into your shoulder. Keep your left arm fully extended, your hips high. Then from here, if you have your leg up or your foot, knee up, come back into three-legged dog, turn towards the front. Good. And then lower the leg down. Breathe in, breathe out, soften. And step the left foot between the hands, spin on your feet, facing along the edge of the mat. Arms out to the side, and come all the way back up. Now, easy Chandrasana. Place your hands on your seat. Push into your seat. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see. Turn your heels in a little bit so they're closer in than the toes. Push your hips forward, bend your knees if you need to, like sitting on a horse. And then keep pushing into your seat, pull down at the same time. Allow your head to drop back if you feel comfortable. If you want, you can slide your hands down one at a time. Grip just below the knees. Use your hands to roll the thighs outwards and the shins inwards. Those who are more flexible, your head's close to the ground, you can see the ground easily. You can release one hand, maybe the fingertips will come right down to the ground. And if one hand makes it down, you can take the other hand to the floor too. Again, options. Move according to your condition. Now, if you're in Urdhva Dhanurasana, one hand at a time. Bring one hand to the the right hand to the right leg. Push into the back of the knee hard to have a firm grip. And then the other hand comes to the left leg. And then slowly keep pushing your hips forward, keep weight on your feet, walk your hands back up. Everybody can do this now. Hands back onto the seat. Good. So I'm going to turn this way again. Turn to the right, Virabhadrasana 2. Again, long and strong lines. Exude the determination, the leadership, the courage of a warrior. Parsvakonasana, right arm on the front leg, left arm over the head. Again, a stretch along the left side of the body. Alternatively, take the hand to the ground on the outside of the foot and push the knee against the inner shoulder. Extend. Visualize the pose in your mind. Try to make it look like what you see in your mind. Bring the hand around the back of the body. Lift your body if you need to. Slip your hand in between. And then push the front leg straight. Bound triangle. Pull the left shoulder back. Try to get your left hip back. Body level with the ground. The trunk level with the ground. Good. And then from here, looking forward. Bring the back foot in a little bit, and from here, slide your right hand out, come into bound Adho Chandrasana, lift the left leg up. Turn to the left shoulder moves back. If it's too much, keep the bind. You can just bring your hand to the hip or raise your arm up. Now bring the left hand down. turn towards the front. Keep your right hip up nice and high. Slide your right hand down or just slide it onto the ankle. Index finger trace on the outside of the ankle. Raise the left leg up as high as you can. If you have tight hamstrings, you can bend the knee. Otherwise, keep the legs straight and see if you can pull the body towards a standing leg. Eventually, your left foot comes right on top of the other one in a straight line. And then, if you have good balance, gaze a little bit beyond the toes and see if you can take your left hand to the standing ankle as well. And then place your hands back down on the ground, lower the left leg down, lower the knee. Drop your seat right down towards the front heel, hands to the front knee. Lean back all the way. Shoulders fall back, the head falls back, your seat stays forward. Relax your shoulders down, no tightness in the shoulders, open up to the heart. If you like, bring your arms up over the head for Kapiasana. Stretch the arms. Make sure they're not bent. This is not the shape of a crescent moon. There's no kinks in the curve. Keep the arms straight. Pull the body out of the hips. And next progression, take the hand to the right hand to the right knee. Left hand just slides down the leg towards the foot. Just try to make the sides of the body nice and curved, nice uniform curve. You can stay here or take the back foot up. Swan. Press the foot into the elbow, fingers start close to the ear. So you can take your right hand around and find the hand and then push the foot into the arm. Just straighten out the arms a little bit more. Open up to the front. Think of a swan's neck again. Every pose, remember, an offering. The best that you can do. Then pull the foot towards the shoulder so that you can put the foot down gently. Turn forward, press into the front knee and come upright. Right foot scooches in, left toes bend under, legs like a box, left arm up, take it to the outside of the knee, the other hand to the just to the seat. Push into the sacrum, pull down, inhale, lift, exhale, look towards your right. Look over your right shoulder eventually, lean back, see if you can take your foot, lean down and take your hand to the outside of the foot. And make sure you don't shrink or hunch. Stay tall, shoulders back, chest wide. This is Ori. Bring you to the edge, stay here. Or come back forward. I'll do it this way so you can see another orientation. Parivrita Pashalkanasana. Left arm up. Angle the toe and knee towards the left, sometimes help. Anchor the leg in place with the back of the left arm, the armpit. And, and then right hand either in the fist and pushing into your right hand, right hand pushing into your left, right, fist pushing into your left hand, or hands in Anjali Mudra. Bring your chest towards your thumbs, roll the right shoulder all the way back. Right shoulder in line with the left eventually. You can take your back knee up off the ground. If you so wish, you can even take a bind. Left arm comes underneath the leg from the outside and the right arm goes over the back. You hold the hand from underneath. Try to keep on rotating with the exhale, lengthening on the inhale. Option here to stay here. Remember, you can keep your knee on the ground too. That's another modification. Or bring your left foot in a little bit closer. Stand on your right foot now. Bound Revolved Chandrasana. Lean forward, take a half breath in, and see if you can get your left leg up. Alternatively, again, release the bind. Left fingertips come to the ground, just on the inside of the foot. Roll the left hip down so the hips are level with the ground, and bring the right arm up. Try to get your shoulders to stack one on top of the other if you're doing this version. Release. Left foot down, turn forward, slide the right foot back, the right foot out to the side, left foot slides back out behind further. Push off the toes, traverse back and forth. Bring the knee down and then the toes relax, and just see if you can ground, get the hips down to the ground. And then perhaps if your shoulder is about the height of the knee, roll to the left, left shoulder, left elbow comes down, roll to the right, right elbow comes down. Now make sure that the right hip is not way higher than the other. The right side of the sit bone should not be pointing upward to the side. Try to point it down. And then you'll be able to get a little bit lower perhaps. Bring the chest eventually to the ground if you can. If you want to go further, the right arm goes the outside, in between the body and the thigh, underneath the knee, and then the left arm goes over the back as well. Join the hands together. The right hand takes the left wrist. Now fix the gaze again, like a lizard. Break the pose. Come back onto the hands. Good. Now from here, we're going to make our way into Vasi Stasana. So, should come into plank first and then downward facing dog. Left hand comes towards the right, turn towards the right. Push your hips forward. Try not to fall into the shoulder, and then if you want, you can do any variation, including Urdhva Dhanurasana. So if you want, you slide your left foot back like you're doing a wild thing, spin on your left hand, so your fingers facing the long edge of the middle of the mat, and come into Urdhva Dhanurasana. Return again, turn your fingers towards the middle of the mat, keep your hips high, keep your arm fully extended, and then return to downward facing dog. Then go to the left, bring the right hand closer to the left. Again, modify if you need to, just stay on your right knee if it's easier for you, or come onto your forearm if it's your wrist. Come into Vasi Stasana. Push your hips forward like you're being blown from a kite from behind. If you're going to Urdhva Dhanurasana, slide your left toes back alongside the right knee. Spin on your heel or your palm, fingers facing the middle of the mat. And then you place your other hand down. And bring your feet and your hands in line with one another. And then moving back, so again, you spin on your hand, push into heel or palm, keep your hip high. Fingers facing the middle of the mat, and then turn back into downward facing dog. Breathe in, breathe out. I'm not sure which way I was facing at this point. But bring the right foot forward between the hands, and then spin on your feet. Come up through the middle, bring the arms up. Good. Again, easy Chandrasana. So, again, take your hands to your seat, pull your heels in, push your hips forward, again, bend your knees a little bit, toes pointing out, and then the more you can bend your knees and go flatter, the closer you'll get your head to the ground. Then, see if you can roll the thighs outwards, roll the shins inwards, push the hips forward and up so your legs straighten. Imagine you're made of elastic, your head is still coming towards the ground. And take other variations if you know. Again, you can move into Urdhva Dhanurasana if you feel comfortable. Release, one hand at a time. If you're in Urdhva Dhanurasana, bring to the back of the knee, push into the back of the knee firmly so you have steadiness. Take your other hand to your leg. And again, palm your way back up one at a time. Up your legs, walking up the backs of your legs, come back onto the seat. Arms out to the side, and then come back facing the front of the mat. Feet together, legs, arms by the sides of the body. From the base of the spine, breathe up to the crown. Imagine the base of the mountain all the way up to the summit. Exhale back to the base of the spine and the base of the mountain. Remain unshakable, unmovable in your determination, your devotion to the practice. And now we're going to come down, getting ready for inversions. Headstand. If you know what you're doing in your headstand, please go ahead. If you need a little bit, a few more options or modifications. So let's try this one. If you're really uncomfortable with inversions, you can just do hare pose. Forehead to the ground in front of the feet, hands beside your feet, and just lift your seat until you can find your hips are over the knees and you're on top of the head, maybe towards the back of the head too, if it's okay. If there's too much strain on your neck, just slide your head out further, so when your hips come up, you're more on the top of the head. So that's one variation. If you feel more comfortable, take hold of your opposite elbows, make sure you can hold them easily, and then interlace your fingers in front. Place your head between your palms. Make sure your elbows don't move out to the side more. Keep them closer to the head, but no more than shoulder width apart. Then lift your feet, walk your feet in towards your elbows as much as you can. And then here you have the choice of just lifting both heels at a time and then come back down. Keep even pressure in your forearms as well. If it's too much pressure in your head, press more in the forearms and you can just lift your head just a hair up off the ground. Okay, so if you feel more comfortable, however, you can bring the one leg back, keep the foot hanging close to the seat. Bend the toes back to keep your foot active and your core active. And then here you can just again pulse up and down, bring heel up and down. Eventually you can bend your toes back towards your shins so that your toes are floating above the ground. You can also just tap the ground with your foot to make sure that, to just give connection. If you feel comfortable, more comfortable, do so. Eventually, if you press into your forearms, you push through the foot that's behind you, your legs can dangle at about the height of the hips. Keep pushing equally through the back foot as the front foot so you don't fall forward or back. Keep in control. Always move according to your comfort level. Remember, if it's too much, just come into an easier version of the pose that's suitable for you. Now, if you're up, you can, if you like, try to take your head up off the ground. It's an option again. Push into your forearms. You can split your legs if you like, one from the other. This is for, again, advanced practitioners. Engage your core, push into your arms, and then lift your head up off the ground. You can tilt your head forward. Sometimes it's easier. Then bingo, you're in up forward forearm balance. Bring your head back down, and wherever you're at, come down gracefully. Always moving with softness, with control, with mindfulness. Rest in child's pose. Breathe in, breathe out, soften everything. Bury your mind deep in the heart, and then the body. You'll watch the body, observe the body move with more steadiness and ease and grace. Now roll your way up. Now you can find your way into shoulder stand now. So you can lie on your back and come up the traditional way. If you're more able-bodied, if you know this one, you can try this one or do this one as well. Come in from a downward facing dog. So make sure you have the shoulders for this. If you have tight shoulders, probably not the one for you. Okay, so if you want to go ahead and shoulder stand, if you know that you want to go in the regular way, go ahead from your back. Otherwise, bring your hands in front like you're doing a downward facing dog. Tuck your chin in, bring your forearms down, closer to the ground. Walk forward, keep your weight on your forearms, your elbows can go to the side. Actually lift your forearms to this point, and then roll on the back of the head, nice and slow. And then bring your hands to the back, and bring your legs up. So that's another way of coming into it. Okay, so again, you have to have strong neck muscles and loose shoulders to do that one. Be mindful and be aware of your condition and limitations. Stay still now. Or if you want to go into lotus first, if you have a lotus, go ahead. And then enter into your meditation on the space between your eyebrows. If you're on top of the shoulders, you can also bring your hands to your thighs. Get the knees higher than the hips. Close your eyes, go inward, beyond the body, the mind, and the emotions. And then close it in tighter for Halasana, or if you have a lotus, keep your lotus, pull the legs in towards the body. If you can wrap your arms around the outside of the legs and join the hands behind the seat, you can do this, or underneath the seat, embryo pose. Make like an embryo in the mother's womb. Alternatively, if you don't have a lotus, plow pose. If your legs start extended, bring them down to the ground or towards the ground. Keep your hands on the back, they don't touch down. Or bring your thighs against your body and your knees on either side of the head if you're flexible. Keep your attention at the space between the eyebrows. Learn to control the mind, or the mind will control you. Getting ready to come out now, so if you have a lotus, you keep the lotus if you can. We'll demonstrate that one first. So you lower down, press into your arms. Once the seat is down, bring the knees down, push into your forearms, lift the chest as much as you can with the elbows in, and then the top of the head comes down. And then I find it then the easiest to take the feet, pull the feet high up into the hip crease, and then pull on the feet so your knees and your elbows come down. Your chest stays up. If you don't have a lotus, your legs are straight, sit on your hands. Move your hands close together, your elbows close together, and then push into your lower arms, lift the chest, bring the top of the head down. Charge your legs. Now, everybody, Bhastrika breath, pant like a puppy, through the nose. Keep going with your breath. If you want, raise your legs 12 inches off the mat. Lower the legs down. Release the pose. Lie on your back. Breathe in. Breathe out, soften everything. relax. And then from here, raise the arms over the head, come to seated position. Back. Right, so now we're going to take pull the left foot in towards the root, and then take the right foot up and just wave it back and forth. And take the foot in both hands, and then push the knee in behind your body. And see if you can get your shoulder in front of the knee. And then use your shoulder to lift the knee up higher so this knee comes up closer to the shoulder, or actually to the ear, and then push it back behind. Now if you can use a strap if you like. Take a strap around the foot. You then raise your leg up. Imagine you're holding a strap. Otherwise you can take your hand underneath the heel and press it up, and try not to shrink your body down. Try to lift your body up, chest up. If you can also take hold of the front, bring it past your hand around the front foot and take the outer edge of the foot. Compass pose. Again, try not to hunch down. That's a tendency to do this. So push your shoulders back, push your leg behind your shoulder. Some of you might be able to eventually get your head in front of the foot. Bring your foot up, pull towards the side, tuck your head down, and then bring your foot behind your head. Okay. And you can bring your hands to the heart center if you like. Those who want can take your hands, if you're in this pose already, take your hands beside your hips. I'm going to turn this way so you can see. Push into your hands, and then see if you can lift your base up off the ground. Elephant trunk. And down. So one last pose. Arm balance maybe. You can try this. Push your foot, again, your leg is hanging over your arm, close to the shoulder preferably. Lean forward a little bit and bring your left foot around and just drop it on top of the other ankle. Hook your feet together tightly, flex your toes, and then push into your arms. Your elbows are over the wrists, Ashtavakrasana. So then your legs come out to the side a little bit. You have to bring your chest forward so your hips are level with the head. And then come back down. Release. Shake out the legs. And the other side. The right knee, foot comes into the root. Your left foot comes up. And then just wave it around a few times. And then back behind your body. And take your shoulder in front of the knee, and then see if you can lift your heel, the foot up from underneath with your hand. Just push your hand into the heel, take a strap, or reach around the front of the foot and take the outside of the foot. And try again to lengthen, push the leg behind the back a little bit more. Spine is straight. If you have the flexibility, you can tip your head down. You have to move your knee way back as far as you can. Tuck your chin in, and then pull your foot towards the right. And maybe you can get your foot behind your head. And then sit up. Try to straighten up as much as you can. Now if you want elephant trunk, place your hands down beside your hips, push into the back leg and see if you can get your leg up. Lean back a little bit to get your leg higher. And come down. Other option, Ashtavakasana. So your leg is still sitting on your shoulder, on your arm close to the shoulder. And then you bring your right foot on top, hook your feet together, hook your toes together, push forward, and then lift your hips. Bring your chest, your hips, and your head in the same line, and push your feet out. Option to try it, and then come down. Good. Then bring the soles of your feet together. Kali Mudra with your hands, reach forward, slip your hands over the toes, and just bring your forehead to rest on your feet, or towards your feet. If your head doesn't make it all the way down, don't worry about it. Elbows out to the side, at the line, right, around the line of the wrists, and then if you look from above, you see a star. Your index fingers, your seat, the bottom top point, and the elbows and the knees, the side points. Knees fall out to the side. Long breaths up and down the spine. And roll your way up. Bring your knees together. Right hand behind the back, left arm up. And then press your forearm against the outer thigh. Lift through the chest, and then look over your right shoulder. Now some of you might be able to bind here. So you can take your left arm up, tip the knees forward. Ideally you want to bind both legs. So tip your knees forward, slip your arm underneath the underneath the knees, and your hand comes to the left side of the seat, right hand comes around the back, and join the hands. You might need a strap. Or you can separate your knees, just bind the right leg. So your hand comes in between your knees, and then you join your hands, and then your hands slip to the outside, just in the hip crease, into the outside of the left hip, and then you just close your knees together as best as you can. So it's another option. Push against the knees, turn to the right. Release, go to the other side. So do it from the front. If you're want to try to take the bind, the right arm comes up. You pass to the outside. Turn as much as you can to the outside of the left knee. And then separate your knees so your hand comes in between your legs. And then your hand comes on top of the right thigh. Left hand comes around and you lock the hands together. And then you pull them to the right of the hip, and then bring the knees together, keep pushing them out towards the right as you move towards the left. Alternatively, just press your forearm against the thigh. Keep your shoulder down, again, back tall. And then release, come to face forward. Sit quietly in Sukhasana or Lotus if you like, any seated comfortable pose. Just sit quietly for a moment. Attune to the higher consciousness, the supreme consciousness that resides within. So we're going to do color breathing. So this is done in order to promote healing in different areas of the body where we direct our attention. Your attention, remember, is like a magnet. It draws the prana there. Also increases our aura, which is our protection against psychic attacks, negative energy that's directed towards us, whether it's intentional or unintentional. So the hands can just stay in Yana Mudra and resting on the right knee. And then on knees, sit up tall. Bring your attention first to the lower three chakras located at the root of the body, the sacral area, and the navel. The color is red. And keep your attention there and breathe out to the sound of ah. Inhale. Moving up to the heart now. The color is green. And just try to think of emotional and physical healing of the heart area. Take a deep breath in. The sound is you, a little bit of a higher pitch this time. Bring your attention now to the throat. The color is blue. And the sound is so. So now imagine, or just try to think of all the words that come out of the throat are always words of compassion and loving kindness. Color blue again. Inhale. Next, the brow center, in the front of the head, middle of the forehead. The sound is E. Picture another shade of blue. This is roughly the location of the pineal gland, pituitary gland, which helps regulate the whole endocrine system. Take a deep breath in here. E. Stay at the brow center, move a little bit further back, a little bit further behind where you were. And the sound is sun. Concentrate mostly on the N sound, which produces vibrations. And then as you do this, imagine all the toxins, impurities being dislodged from the body and just out into the bloodstream to be carried out eventually. Color is indigo. Inhale. Sun. Bring the attention to the crown. The color is violet. The sound is sum. Concentrate again on the M sound of this tone, and imagine as the vibrations of this helps to improve mental sharpness and clarity. Inhale. Sum. Take a moment to just observe any changes of state in the mental, physical, or emotional realm. Now prepare for Shavasana. Lie down on the back. Ease your way down gently. We're going to continue to promote healing through Shavasana, for it is one of the most effective ways of removing impurities and toxins from the body. Surrender to relaxation. Be receptive to all the incoming benefits, gifts of the practice. So once you're down in a comfortable position, listen to the instructions. Stay alert. This is an active form of meditation. When you do a guided Shavasana meditation in Shavasana, ensure that you remain present. Bring your hands, attention first to the hands, relax them completely. Feel all the fingers droop in response. Backs of the hands and the palms of the hands soften, no tension there. And the wrists loose, flimsy. Next, bring your attention to the arms, moving up from the wrists all the way to the shoulders. Release all the muscles. Feel as though they were dissolving into just a mass of just softness. Just hanging off the bones, just soft tissue that serve no purpose. All the way up through the arm to the shoulder. The muscles are completely relaxed now. The shoulder itself, relax the shoulders so there's no tightness or no tension. Let it drop away. And just allow the bones to just stay there at the head of the shoulder. Just keeping that left arm, those arms in place. Arms like dead weight, lifeless. Now from the top of the back, make your way down the back body. Just feel the whole back releasing. Feel the heaviness spread all across the upper back, throughout the shoulder blade. Much like when you inject a pen into the water and then the ink just distributes everywhere gradually through the body, through the water. Same way the heaviness just continues to coat every part of the back. It goes into the lower back. And when the weight presses down on the lower back, the back of the skin of the back stretches and just fuses with the earth. Everything becoming heavy, relaxed. Move that weight into the seat now. Allow it to spill into the seat, which is like a big basin. Hold it all. And then it just sinks into the ground as well, heavily. The bones of the hip joint all heavy like lead. Adding more to that weight there so that the body feels completely anchored down through the hips, through the seat. And now bring the attention to the legs, tops of the legs, starting there. Send the signal down the legs to release all the muscles in the same way as you did with the arms. Feel the muscles just gradually, bit by bit, all the way down, becoming more relaxed. And then just completely softening, completely disengaging any strength, any effort for from the muscles. So they remain or become loose, ineffective, just hanging off the bones. When you reach the ankle, notice how it is inactive, just like the other joints. The hip, the knee, all they do is just allow the signals to pass through. And the foot attached to the ankle is completely loose. So allow the foot, the toes to relax, the bottom of the foot's heel to just become soft without tension. The instep of the foot, say the front or the top of the foot, soft as well. And the whole, both feet just fall out to the side, lifeless, limp. Arms and legs are grounded, heavy, immobilized. And then And do the same with the inner realm, but all the life that's inside the body that animates the body, the systems, the organs working away. Signal them to just take a break, and to just cease their activity, or at least slow down to the point where it's barely detectable, where the fluids are barely circulating in their veins throughout the body. So quiet now. All the organs become, the body becomes as lifeless as a corpse, and as quiet and as still as a corpse from the neck down. The head is resting heavily on the ground. The face shows no indication of strain or tension. It's completely soft, all the features relaxed. No lines of anxiety or stress appear anywhere in the forehead, around the eyes, around the mouth. No tightness anywhere, just complete softness. So the throat and the neck also soft, relaxed, no tension. And the brain also has become quiet. All the activity in the mind, as though we're a station broadcasting hundreds of channels. All those channels just suddenly, like they went on mute. They all quiet down. And then it comes to the point where not even the body is communicating with the mind anymore. No nerves being sent up, no signals, no sensations. So then the body becomes quiet. The brain becomes quiet. And you, the seer, is just looking at all this, feeling no attachment to the body, feeling no sensations of the body, for you are not the body. Not distracted by the activity of the mind, because the mind has gone quiet. And as a result, the emotions have been quelled as well. They're quiet. You are none of these, neither the body nor the mind nor the emotions. What you are is pure consciousness, pure wisdom and love and truth. All these virtues, qualities, boundless. No definition, no form. And they're everywhere. Just imagine all these qualities augmenting, filling up every space, filling up the whole universe, pooled with the consciousness and the love and the wisdom of all beings, becomes a great force, a great divine essence that we all draw from. Continue to contribute to that through the act of offering all that you do, all that you have, all that you are. So we can all become greater as a whole, for we are all one. Now repeat to yourself the following sentence 3 times to ingrain in your mind and your heart. Repeat to yourself, not only here and now, but every day. I continue to contribute the best of the best to all beings everywhere. attention back to the body, bit by bit. Start to awaken. Become conscious of the legs, the arms, the fingers, toes, the breath, everything. The inner systems that animate the body. Feel them starting to come back to life. The utmost gentleness once you're ready. With as much reverence and mindfulness and quietness as you can, return to a seated position. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Be receptive to the divine grace of God. All is within. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining. Hope to see you next time. So speaking of which, next Saturday, I may or may not be able to run the class. Depends on whether I have to travel or not. If I do, the class will be on Sunday. So I'll let you know in any case. So please, I'll post on my, you'll see the event updated with the date if I need to change it. Otherwise, hope to see you next weekend sometime. Namaste.